Round 4 and we're live at Mount Panorama in Bathurst, Australia. We're meant to be in Dubai this week at the Dubai Autodrome, but due to some situations that went wrong on the track, caused drivers to randomly disconnect and really struggle to be able to see themselves on track. Quite a lot of connection issues, crashes, glitches, the whole 9 yards. So we decided, keeping in the kind of Asian, the Pacific kind of area, we'd come down to Bathurst at Mount Panorama, host to one of the most famous and iconic touring car races of all time, the Bathurst 1000. And that might be something we look to do in the future. Good evening to all of you, live and exclusive on twitch.tv. I am Pink Markov, here for XRL Racing League Round 6 here at Bathurst, Australia, but you already knew that. Qualifying is about to get underway shortly, and the track, which is rather unusual, starts out almost quite bland, with lots of 90-degree corners, reminiscent of most street circuits, but then it all changes as you go up into the mountains, where you've got really difficult gradients, chicanes that are downhill, blind hairpins, nasty bumps, and plenty of opportunity to go into the wall. This is a real test for the drivers, and it's going to be an interesting one to see who has actually got the chance to move things forward. Taking a quick look at the championship standings meantime, you can see that Kel Ramsey is way out in front at the moment on 118 points. Only comes second in one Grand Prix here, won the other 4. So out of 5 races, 1 for 1 second. That's a record that Jenson Button in 2009 would have been approved of when he was driving for Braun. Second place is Bob Lee Swagger, way behind on 54 points. Then we've got Paulie Dog on 40, Welsh Report LK Bad Boy on 38, we've got Skanky Puppy on 34, Nightfall 001 on 13, and Maldovic 27, Janique Talon, who's got those awful 2 letters next to his name, RQ. As in Rage Quit. Couldn't stay with the race after winning a debut in Donington, had 2 catastrophic failures at Catalunya and Laguna Seca, and so far has not turned up at Bathurst. Is this the end of his career in terms of the PS4 League? We really do not know at this time. Bragamo, meanwhile, is in 9th place on 15, and rounding out the top 10 is Kentucky Racer. So let's get to the circuit then to show what's going on out here on the circuit at Mount Panorama in Australia. Now we can see at the moment on board with Kentucky Racer, who's going around the lap in towards the middle point of the circuit. You see those narrow walls, very, very tricky. You've got those uphill hairpins with all the unsettling nature of the bends. Makes it very, very difficult indeed to really gauge exactly where you're going to be in relation to your fellow drivers. And you can see straight into the wall there and off to the pits. Kentucky Racer clearly not happy with that lap, so cutting back to Vickers that far, and he's actually backed off. He's got traffic ahead of him, so we'll stand over Higgy 91. I think this might be a quick lap in the BMW Z4, heading through the chicanes down towards the end of sector 2. You can see how difficult the cars seem to be cambered in and out of each other, and lots of gradients to really cause an effect. Makes it very, very difficult indeed. For those of you out there watching live on the stream exclusive on twitch.tv, the chat box is open. So if you've got any text messages you want read out, the chat box is there and interactive all the way through. We are going to be live for the rest of this race, 23 laps I believe here at Bathurst, Australia. Look at how gingerly Higgy 91 is going to get the power down in that BMW Z4. Really finding it difficult here. The car's very much on the ragged edge. For the drivers, they've only actually had pretty much 3 days notice in terms of the change of circuit. Originally was meant to be in Dubai, but thanks to the issues it was switched very late to Bathurst, Australia. And most drivers have said they've not had the time to get fully acclimatised to this typical circuit, which unlike Albert Park and unlike the Adelaide Grand Prix circuits in Australia, is a lot more challenging due to the gradients and the changes of the corners. Well, Higgy 91 almost close to the end of the lap. They're going up to the first of 2 nice square left 90-degree corners. You can see the grid markings there. It's very similar to the end of the Porsche curves at Le Mans 24 Hours Mulsanne circuit. Goes on the start-finish line at 2 minutes 7. Says provisional P1. But meanwhile, Ace Killer's got traffic ahead of him. Malvik's just coming out on the circuit at the moment. 94001 in the RUF. One of the drivers is doing quite well in the championship. Let's see how he can do here at the circuit Mount Panorama. Bathurst, one of the more technical circuits you'll ever see. Jenson Button famously drove one of the old McLaren F1 cars around here. I don't know how he managed to even get it around without breaking the nose cone. It's kind of like going down Laguna Seca's corkscrew. Oh, big accident for 94001! Completely screwed up the corner there, blindsided, went straight into the tyre wall. That's the end of his lap. Disaster there for the RUF driver. Going back to Maldovic CH1 in the McLaren MP4-12C GT3. Say that 3 times fast if you can. Trying to go through the middle sectors down towards the deep chicane S's. I think they're known as the Chase here at Mount Panorama. A very nice and Albert Parkland, viewers. It shows what happens when you've not got someone holding your leash. And again, chat box over. Maldovic's got a car, got the circuit ahead of him, right in the middle of these tight, twisty chicane. You can see all the runoff on the left there. If you try and go through that, very similar to Laguna Seca's corkscrew, you will get a penalty. Drivers definitely have to ensure they do all they can to keep it within the white lines. Well, a circuit like Mount Panorama at Bathurst, it's so much harder because the corners completely change gradient. Every metre you drive, the car feels like it's going further and further away from you, almost as if you're about to go into a loop-the-loop on the roller coaster rather than attempting to get into a circuit. So Maldovic doing GT3, he's got one of the cars that's really not helping him at the moment, going very slowly through the final chicane. Not so sure he's not causing dirty air to that McLaren MP4-12C GT3. Otherwise, that could be a penalty for impeding, and that's not something that we want to get involved in here. Very slow final corner, takes a lot of curve, almost flicks the car out on the outside there when the power goes down. But Maldovic sets a time that's good enough. Well, for not anything, he's actually not counted. He's unfortunately missed his marks. Kentucky Racer, meanwhile, currently out on circuit on a lap, did a 43.7 for the first sector and a 44.6. While the second, that's comfortably the quickest pace thus far. Higgy 91 is currently in first place on 207, Bergamo 208, and Bacon Bouncer on 209.5, Ace Killer 209.8, and then 214s. After that, such disparity in pace here from all the drivers at Mount Panorama Bathurst. Well, Kentucky Racer in the BMW Z4, one of those cars getting clean out of the way there. Good drive from the Audi R8 LMS, making sure it doesn't get in the way there. Heading into the final corner, Kentucky Racer getting power down nice and smooth over to the cars on rails. This looks very fast indeed, and look at that, 206.7. Easily good enough for first place. P91 is out on the lap at the moment in the sister BMW Z4, but is over a second down. Really got to find some pace in that sister car. Ace Killer just coming out of the pits, and Vickers VF1 on another outlap, I believe. He's currently well off the pace, 7 seconds down. Let's get up those Bergamo's just got over the line set 207.4, so he's responded a little bit on the pace here. As you can see, Higgy 91 going through these difficult chicanes halfway up the mountain at Mount Panorama, really struggling to get the power down, trying to get that extra time. The second difference between him and his teammate thus far goes a little wider a hairpin though. The cambered gradient there pulling the car away from him as he's trying to get into the apex of the turn. On the stream meanwhile, Westwick Gaming says, hello Swish, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us here, live and exclusive on twitch.tv for all you viewers out there watching. And if you're not watching, what are you up to? It's better, you can't be doing much better on a Saturday night. Going a little wide on the inside there, Higgy 91, using the extra runoff to get a little bit of a slingshot into the corner. Quite cunning, both wheels stayed inside the white line, so it's definitely a legal move. Slight many people try and drive on the outside of the Red Bull ring when you're at the end of the first corner where you've got a nice little extra runoff and you can push the car a little bit further into the hairpin corner, looking quite nice. It's that 90-degree left-hander heading down towards the appropriate named Hell corner that starts the lap, and Higgy 91 does not improve thus far, stays in P4. Moving further by Ace Killer in the McLaren MP4-12C GT3, going through the downhill. Oh, we've got the car off the circuit, one of the Audi R8s there, really caused a bit of a problem. Could have easily sideswiped that if you hadn't been careful, and that's really thrown his concentration. He's lost the back end into the wall, and that is his lap done and dusted. These drivers are really struggling at the moment. Very, very difficult to get a clean lap here, and of course with so many laps available, this could be a lottery in terms of who wins. So it's going to be a difficult race ahead of them for all these drivers. Definitely want to keep watching. On the subject of qualifying, meanwhile, Formula One has decided, rather usefully, that they are actually going to revert back to their 2015 season. Now, meantime, going up the start-finish line, no improvement from Football 67611. So each 2 has got to find a bit more pace if he's going to try and compete with the guys in the front. Now, all this situation regarding the Formula One qualifying, I have an appropriate clip that sums up my emotions towards it. Yes, fail indeed, courtesy of Gran Turismo 4 there. That's my opinion to what's going on the circuit in terms of qualifying, because the drivers are finding it very difficult at the moment. In terms of F1's qualifying stream, fail is definitely the word to use. Now there, have you got your opinions on the changes to all the Formula 1 that's going on at the moment, and also to the other multiple forms of motorsport? You can get them out here. I'll do my best to get through them, as well as bring you the coverage here for this race in the PS4 GT3 Championship Round 6 at Bathurst, Australia. Maldovic, clicking the inside of the wall there, kicking up a lot of dust. Didn't really get any debris to his car though, so evidently he's not struggling with downforce, but really finding it tricky to get the power down here in this McLaren MP4-12C GT3. I'm just going to call it the McLaren from now on, because I'm getting sick of saying that. It's such a long name. You see, almost like they do after a photocopier. Why would you call it that, of all things? Looking very out of shape, the car snaking left and right as he gets in towards the final chicane there, Maldovic. But gets a decent kiss on the inside curb there. Doesn't get too bad a line. Heading towards the final corner. Is he going to go for the pits here, or is he going to finish the lap? He is going to complete the lap, so let's ride up on into the 90-degree left corner here. Gets a nice inside kiss in the apex. No issues at all. Goes wide on the outside, making sure you use all the track available. Is this an improvement? No, it's not. And the disparity in pace is absolutely astonishing. Skanky Puppy Unseen has got on a 2:05.6, being followed by Bodley Swagger on a 2:06.4, Kentucky Racer on a 2:06.5, Bagamo 2:07.4, Higgy 91 on 2:07.5, Bacon Boss on 2:09.5, and then a 2:09.8 from Ace Killer. After that, you're down into the 2:12s and 2:13s. And look at Welsh 88 Bad Boy at 2:34 as Maldovic sends himself round as he cuts the inside apex there and loses the back of the car. All drivers struggling to really make it look round there at the moment, making it very, very difficult indeed. Means I try to make sure my mouse pointer doesn't bring up any extra captures for you don't want to see. As Flipper Racing generating a lot of noise actually, hearing what sounds like a part of the car scraping on the surface as he almost gets blindsided. It's so tempting to go straight on that chicane as you believe that naturally it cambers to the left and you want to go straight down, but nope, it's not the corner he's supposed to take, it's not the way he's supposed to go. As Flipper Racing does his best to try and get back on pace at 2:12.2, he needs to gain at least 4 seconds if he wants to get anywhere reasonable on the grid. And if the pace disparity is that bad in the race, we could see some interesting duels as the leaders try to get past the back markers. It'll really test their mettle. Flipper Racing 2:12, heading down this really long back straight in the called the chase towards these chicanes at the end of the lap here, really pushing the BMW Z4 as much as he can to get that pace, but gets a little out of shape there. Struggles to get the car stopped, pulls to the inside, trying to gain the actual maximum straight line out of the corner, heading towards the final turn. Nice 90-degree left corner, but he's overshot his braking point, almost went into the gravel there. He's really struggling to keep this car under control, Flipper Racing. I'm not sure it's going to be much of an improvement, if any at all. Indeed, no improvement thus far. Ace Killer 15, meanwhile, in the McLaren, doing his best to try and get back on top of 2:09.8. He's good enough for 7th place for now, but you'd expect that he'll want to get much closer to the front of the grid. Gets a little wide at the chicane now, really finding it difficult to get the car stopped. Much like the corkscrew at Laguna Seca, it's such a blind bend now, and also bears a few similarities to the Dunlop chicane at the Mulsanne layout of Le Mans. It's got that really tight, twisted crest, and then right after it, you're halfway through a bend. So it's very easy to consider yourself going straight on and find yourself into the gravel, especially late at night if you're doing a race like at Le Mans, where you've got the 24-hour endurance. So it definitely tests the driver's skill here down at Mount Panorama and Bathurst. It's such a narrow circuit as well. It's so difficult for the drivers to get a clean overtake here. It's very much a door-bashing touring car circuit rather than a nice, fast and fluid Formula 1 circuit. So the drivers have got to be a bit more gritty tonight and really drag performance from the car. And that was a nice apex kiss there from Ace Killer, getting a nice smooth line, heading towards the start-finish straight. Has he got an improvement? Yes, he has. A 2:08.5 puts in P6. Much better performance. Kept all the drivers at the front, meanwhile, have decided to retire to the pits. No one else is on a lap, and that is the end of it. So, well, got a few minutes here to test the final warm-up after that. All you people watching out there live and exclusive on twitch.tv, please get your questions coming in. It's all about interactivity. You are the show at the end of the day. If you're watching this on delay, Make sure you're back here next week when we will be at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium for one of the classics of the GT calendar halfway through the season. We've got a double header of low downforce following this race at Bathurst. It's going to be first at Spa and then at Monza. So 2 circuits where it's all about speed and aggression. And that is one that you can't afford to miss. So right on board there, we've got Night 4001 in the RUF. Very shades of a classic 911 GT3 Le Mans car in terms of its style, but the pace is surprisingly with the BMW Z4s here. But all the twists and the high gradients is evidently suiting that shorter wheelbase, that easier ability to get the grip from the tyres. The BMWs definitely seem much more suited, but it's all about the race. It's about how you get the power out over a stint. And Night 4001 showed it both at Laguna Seca and also at Catalunya. He is capable of getting consistent performance over a long stint. And that's how you're going to have to treat it if you want to survive here at Mount Panorama, because of how difficult it is. Look how close he came to the wall there, clipped the inside, left all the outskirt marks on it, really made a mess of the car. Do that so much in the race, you're going to find yourself stuck in the pits getting repairs. Well, that was a very smooth ride through the middle chicanes, really hit those apexes beautifully. So Night 4001 evidently a little more comfortable when he's having to push the car to the ragged edge, and that's the sign of a potential champion. Though at the moment, it's definitely all in the hands of Killer Ramsey when it comes to that, except he's not here this week. So maximum chance for the drivers to get themselves back into contention in that title hunt. Into the final chicane. Oh, he's badly overshot that. He decided to go lawn mowing rather than driving. Look at this. We've now gone back to a classic British grass track race rather than a GT race here in Australia. Evidently the track is not giving much in the way of grip at the moment. Maldovic has also smashed into the wall. The high speed end of Sector 2. So easy to push that. Kind of shades of Monte Carlo and Valencia in many ways, where when you get the outside of the circuit, that's it, you're straight into the wall. There's no messing around, there's no tyre barriers, there's no nice comfortable run-offs to spin the car around in. It's just straight on pain into the wall. Make a mistake and you pay for it. Meanwhile, Sister Flint in the GT3 an absolute animal of a car. This really got so much torque at the bottom. Definitely not the kind of circuit where you want to be trying to drag this beast around. And evidently, Sister Flint finding it very, very tough indeed. It's a car that really rewards smooth driving. This very much about power. Very much a track which will be in contention both at Spa and at Monza, but you'd expect this race at Mount Panorama to do that vehicle no favours whatsoever. Thus far though, Sister Flint is managing to hold it together, doing a decent job, so there's still a chance here that he's going to get himself into contention, maybe into the points. It's all about how it goes on the track. Getting out of shape a little bit, just headed towards the chicane at the end of the middle of Sector 3. Got a little wide on the outside there that compromised his line as the car is really staking left and right. The amount of torque that you can get out of the tyres of the GT3 is really something else. And evidently Sister Flint's not finding this the easiest of cars to control. 1 minute left in this brief warm-up before the race begins proper here at Mount Panorama. And Sister Flint's not going to actually get a time in. He's not been around quick enough to get a time set. I don't think any driver is actually out there to do that. Possibly Night 4001. So we'll remain on board with the night this time as we watch going through towards the end of Sector 3. Nice kiss of the apex there from Night 4001. Gets into the chicane. Slightly misses by a few millimetres. Could have possibly pushed that a little better towards the inside. But Night 4001 is really on the attack here. Heading towards the final corner. Gets on the brakes. Nice rub of the curb there, really pushes as hard as he can, uses the maximum curb on the outside. This looks pretty fast. We've got a lap time here, yes we do, it's only a 2:10, but Garvo meanwhile has done a 2:15. Is he going to improve on that with his second run around? He was much faster in qualifying and he's much faster now on a 2:088. So This short warm-up session, it doesn't really tell us much in terms of pace here. All we do know is that the race is going to be on very, very shortly, live and exclusive, brought to you on twitch.tv, courtesy of Excite Racing League. For those of you guys who like your racing close and aggressive, whether you're a fan of esports or whether you're a fan of motorsport or whether you're a fan of sport in general, we welcome you all from all corners of the globe to watch this live. And if you are going to be watching this on the tape play, well, let's hope you enjoy it when you do it that way as well. And here's me, where I belong, right at the back of the grid. And I'm rest assured I'll be retiring to the pit box very quickly as we wait for the 5 lights. Once that happens, we will be racing here. So it's lights out and away they go, heading down towards turn 1. Vickers gets a decent start, so does Maldivit, but head of head, all the drivers really getting away from each other. Ace Killer in 6th place, and always been passed by Bacon Bonds on the inside. As He91 says that it looks like the drivers are actually going to be bringing themselves a bit of a formation lap. Evidently Skanky Puppy leading away slowly here, the drivers all staying in formation. I was told that this wasn't going to happen this week, so you got a bit of an extra treat here, viewers. But look at this. Maldovic has been absolutely smashed into the back of. His car is completely and utterly ruined at the back end. That's the last thing he wants. Bring on the ring, Assistant Flynn in 13th, Knight 4001, all the way down in 14th. And then you got me in the pits after that, so the driver's evidently not happy here. And already we appear to have lost Welsie, aka Bad Boy. Bob Lee Swagger trying to keep us close to the back of Skanky Puppy as he dares, as these drivers have all got to stay in formation for this lap before we will be racing at the end of the circuit here. You got so order of the field for you. Skanky Puppy in pole position. Bob Lee Swagger in 2nd. Kentucky Racer in 3rd. You got Pagano 4th. Higgy91 in 5th. Ace Killer in 6th. Bacon Boss in 7th. Flipper Racing 8th. Maldovic with ruined back end 9th. Great 4 Demon in 10th. Vickers F1 in 11th. Football 6-7. 6 number 1 in 12th. Sister Flint 13th. And rounding off the field is Knight 4001 in 14th. And the drivers have all segregated quite badly here. They're all quite far apart, so the guys at the front of the field have got a real chance here to break away. No, they've got to try to slow the pack down, get everyone close together before we get this rolling start at the final corner, and it will be all systems going. Bob Lee Swagger is all over the back of the Skanky Puppy in the RUF. He's really trying to do everything he can here. Higgy91 looking in the back of Pagavo, who's trying to get close to the back of Bob Lee Swagger and Kentucky Racer. Few sporadic gaps have formed between them. 22 laps it will be when we are green lights here at the end of this formation lap. All drivers trying to get a little extra time here. You can see that they are starting to bunch up a little bit as we look at the track map. But after this, it's going to be all systems go. Kentucky Racer getting close to the back of the Bob Lee Swagger is looking at the back of Skanky Puppy. It's going to be lights out, and away we go. As we go towards the start-finish line, Skanky Puppy is scampering straight away. Kentucky Racer's got a bad start behind, but Bob Lee Swagger has not caught up as we go into the hell corner. All drivers keeping the distance here, trying to avoid going into the back of each other at the moment. Thus far, all looks absolutely clean as a whistle. As we've got Bacon Boss in 7th place, Lumber Racing in 8th, and Maldic in 9th. No drivers have yet been able to catch up to each other, and evidently everyone is struggling to really get close to the back of the pack here. Pagano though has got a bit of a run on the back of Kentucky Racer in the BMW Z4, going into this fast flowing corner, gets an outside line, dirty air, compromising his line, heading towards the middle of the first sector, and Kentucky Racer is doing all he can to keep Pagano behind the war of the BMW Z4s as we head into this hairpin corner, and you can really see that this car's got plenty of grip here. Higgy91 catching up to the back of Pagano. They've got a bit of a gap on Ace Killer at the moment. Higgy91 trying to catch desperately to the back of Pagano in the BMW Z4 is all over the back of Kentucky Racer. Bob Lee Swagger and Skanky Puppy have not got away as Kentucky Racer pushed very close to the wall indeed there. Really rubbed up to the edge but did not do any damage to the car. As all these drivers have got a bit of sporadic distance between each other. Kentucky Racer gets decent line. So do Pagano and Higgy91, but Pagano seems to come better with the end of the braking zone. They're pushing towards the wall on the outside. Bob Lee Swagger is looking at the back of the RUF for Skanky Puppy. Heading into the hairpin corner. Bob Lee Swagger says it's tight to line. Skanky goes a little wide, more like a Formula 1 line there. Neither driver gaining the upper hand at the moment. Kentucky Racer in 3rd place, getting looked in the back of Bob Lee Swagger in the Audi R8 LMS. who's currently staring down the back of Skanky Puppy in the RUF. All drivers are a bit spread out at the moment. The rolling start, surprisingly, has not bunched the field. Normally when a rolling start, you see the lead driver doing all he can to back everyone together so that he can do that huge scamp away and really march on. But Skanky Puppy had this measured beautifully by Bobley Swagger, and all the pace seems to have been mirrored. As we head further into the second lap here, Bobley Swagger getting a decent kiss on the apex there. So does Kentucky Racer, and Skanky Puppy has started to lead these three away as Bergamo has made a bit of a mistake somewhere. Has now got Higgy-Dye all over the back of him, but look at the back end of Maldovic. Evidently that car's been through the absolute mangler. Higgy-91 watches as Bergamo goes up the circuit, kicking up the dust here at Mount Panorama, going through Hell Corner, heading on towards the chase, and Kentucky Racer's been broken away a little bit from. Surprisingly, Bobley Swagger and Skanky Puppy have been able to get the early pace that gets them the advantage thus far. Bobley Swagger gets a decent line on the inside, kissing the average beautifully out to Kentucky Racer. Bergamo firing a wall of death approach on the outside there, not really getting close. Moving further back through the field, there's got a bit of a spread between Flipper Racing, Great 4 Demon, Night 4001, System Flint, and Football. Evidently the drivers have all migrated a little bit, so I'm going to catch up to 5th place for that battle for the top podium points. And Higgy-91 all over the back of Bergamo in the BMW Z4 as he tries to chase down Kentucky Racer. All these drivers driving for the same manufacturer. So far, the lead and positions have not changed. But there's 21 laps to go here at Mount Panorama. Anything is possible. All drivers doing a beautiful job at that chicane, despite how blind it is, despite how easy it is to go wide. Everyone's kissing that apex beautifully. Oh, big mistake! Maldovic goes into the wall, and that's caused Bacon Bots to follow him. Two drivers have crashed out there, caused a huge incident. Flipper Racing has got Great 4 Demon chasing after him. So much for the drivers getting that right. Commentator's curse has struck again, viewers. Night 400 getting more than gravel on his windshield there as he follows Great 4 Demon. Flipper Racing, Bacon Bots and Maldovic both making mistakes almost synchronised there. Ace Killer's got the drop on him as Higgy-91 looks at the back of Bergamo. Up ahead, meanwhile, you can see Kentucky Racer all over the back of Bobley Swagger, and Skanky Puppy in that RUF is starting to get a little bit of a left break here and get away, but there's still 21 laps to go. You can't rule out anything happening. Higgy-91 looking at the back of Bergamo, gets a beautiful run there. Bergamo went a little bit wide. He's now got a nice slipstream as we head down towards Hell Corner. Are we going to think about a late lunch here for Higgy-91? Takes a quick look. Doesn't really see that there's much opportunity there. Decides to hold his horses and wait at the moment as Kentucky Racer sees Bobley Swagger all over the back of Skanky Puppy in the RUF, and this would be a suicidal move here. The track is so thin, so narrow. Advantage very much the leader as we head into this fast flowing corner. Bobley Swagger realises he's outgunned on this one and has to hold back. But Bobley Swagger is not intimidated by the RUF. He's attacking. That's a mistake from Skanky Puppy, forces him wide. That might compromise entry into the hairpin. That allows Bobley Swagger to get a nice clean run. Battle for first and second here between RUF and Audi. Bobley Swagger really liking this. Evidently the undulating nature of the circuit, the narrow track, the difficult bounces and gradients. He seems to be riding it in his stride at the moment. Skanky Puppy just ahead. He's able to scamper a little bit though. And Bobley Swagger is definitely keeping his honest in terms of that first place. Higgy-91 goes a little wide at the blind chicane there as Bergamo gets a really, really good run on Kentucky Racer. It's battle on here between the BMWs heading into this downhill hairpin. And a mistake! Skanky Puppy has gone wide and into the wall. That gives Bobley Swagger the lead. And right now you've got Kentucky Racer snipped through to second place. I warned you that anything could happen here at Mount Panorama. Skanky Puppy is now a sitting duck as Bergamo in the BMW Z4 is on the attack here. Getting into the slipstream, but look at this! Skanky Puppy's not intimidating, moving left and right, but Kentucky Racer is not going to let him pass. Bergamo forces him in on the outside of the chicane. This is going to be magnificent if he can make this stick side by side into the penultimate corner, heading into the tight left-hander. This is the advantage Skanky Puppy you'd expect, but Bergamo's not going to give up on the brakes. Why has he got the car stopped? Oh, disaster! Gets a lack of grip and unfortunately loses out as Higgy-91 takes the place. But brave drive from Bergamo. That would have been one of the best overtakes I've ever seen if he pulled that off. Such a shame. Higgy 91 lining up Skanky Puppy in the drag here. Look how close he was getting. Almost like watching a NASCAR race. They were bumper to bumper as they head into this fast hairpin corner. And again, Skanky Puppy's gone wide. He's touched the wall. And Higgy 91 looks like he's going to take this one from him. And Bergamo now in 5th place. He's looking at the back of that RUF. He's intimidated him before. Can he do it again? Skanky Puppy had pole position and led from the front. But 2 mistakes in 2 laps has got him down to 4. I'll try and bring you some coverage of the back markers in a moment, viewers, but you can see that Bergamo is looking at the back of Skanky as Skanky, hits the wall! Double dose of dust there as all the drivers really clatter up. That's the danger about Panorama. There's walls on the edges. It's so narrow, it's so tight, it's so twisty. And you've got the hills as well. It's so easy to make a mistake. And Skanky Puppy has done that more than once. He's really riding his luck in that RUF, but he's still up for a podium here, providing an overhaul Kentucky racer in the BMW Z4. Meanwhile, Bergamo tries to take a wider line to get a better cutback. Doesn't get it right though, and that gives Skanky Puppy some crucial breathing room. Meanwhile, Higgy 91 is ahead in 3rd place, and you've got Kentucky Racer in 2nd, but out in front, Bobley Swagger now has got about a 2-second gap here, and that allows him to manage the race and look to attack. Meanwhile, we've got Flipper Racing. Following Ace Killer, going to go to the external cameras. Flipper Racing being taken by Maldovic, who clashes the outside wall, and that's going to allow Bacon Bonson and the McLaren to try and get close to him here as they head towards this final sector. Guessing the slipstream, Bacon Bonson and McLaren MP4-12C, GT3, trying to get close to Maldovic, who's been a real stalwart of midfield positions so far this season. Really done his best, and you can see that Maldovic struggling with that McLaren, whereas Bacon Bonson is much more in control of that beast of a car. And you can see again, look how wide Maldovic went there. Bacon Bonson's all over him, heading into the final corner, gets into the slipstream, as Maldovic decides it's probably the best time to get a fresh pair of boots on, and goes into the pits. And Skanky Puppy has also gone in, evidently the damage on the car from going to the wall has been a bit too much to take here. Ace Killer now in 5th place as Bergamo goes a little wide, almost into the wall there, gets away with it as Higgy 91 is now lining up his teammate, the great Kentucky Racer. They're both very close together as they head and send the mountain here in Bathurst, Australia. Getting close to the inside walls of Higgy 91. He's not afraid. Goes over the blind cross at full speed. You can see the marbles forming on the outside of the circuit there. All the dust and leaves being kicked up by the drivers. Bergamo's fallen off the pace a little bit. So we'll watch a battle of the BMW Z4s. But I don't know actually if we're seeing a bit of a gap forming here. Kentucky Racer seems to be very confident in that BMW Z4. And indeed, Higgy 91 has made a mistake there. We were heading further forward. You can see Bobley Swagger. He's way out in front. He's already gone through the hairpin. He's got a good 3-second gap there. Bobley Swagger managing this race absolutely beautifully. Ace Killer kicking up the dust going through the blind chicanes in the chase there. And look at this, Flipper Racing has got Bacon Bonds into McLaren all over him like a rash. So we'll stay on this race for now. They're very close together, heading into this blind like a reverse version of the corkscrew, mirror imaged in many ways, going through into the final hairpin corner at the end of this twisty tight section. And you can see that Bacon Bonds seems to have so much more confidence driving in that McLaren. He just seems to be able to attack the circuit that little bit more. And Bacon Bonds is really the one to watch here. He's on the march, but at the same time you can't count out Flipper Racing. He showed us in the second race of the season just how confident he is in that car when we took on Road America. Do not count him out. Going further back, you've got Griffo Demon in 8th place. Skanky Puppy after his pit stop is down in 9th, and he's catching these guys very quickly indeed. The fresh pair of rubber is going to make him very helpful here, and in fact, I think he's going to be let past here. I don't even think that BMW Z4 is going to offer any kind of resistance. Indeed, he doesn't. Griffo Demon gets out of the way. Don't know if he thought he was getting blue flagged or what there, but Skanky Puppy gets a rather easy overtake in the end. Bit of a disappointment in the anticlimax in many ways. Moving further, you got footballs. You got a side-by-side battle between Vickers F1 and Maldovic. And Maldovic makes a beautiful overtake on the inside there. And you get a feeling that Vickers, with that smashed front windscreen, look at the cracks on that. He's going to be almost unable to see anything heading into the hell corner. And you can see the visibility affecting Vickers quite badly there. He went very wide. And as a result, Maldovic's got a little bit of a gap with him at the moment. These guys are outside of the points at the moment. They are very close together though. And you can see that Vickers trying to get as close as he can to Maldovic, but Maldovic seems to have his number. And we are Knight 4001 retired early in the race as Maldovic goes into the wall and drags his vehicle around the outside there, kicking up all paint and dust as he goes. Vickers I've want to be looking at that and not making notes going, okay, you're not as comfortable as you look. But meanwhile, Maldovic has got very close to the back of football 67611, and this looks like a potential opportunity, kicking up the dust again. Evidently, the driver's liking to push the cars to an absolute ragged edge. Either that or it's rookie nerves as they try and conquer a circuit that they've not been able to get much practice on. Oh, big mistake! What happened there from Vickers? Smashed into the wall, but I think it might be like this. Indeed, look at that, he's got off the circuit like he was rally driving and carried on all day. Well, that's not what we want to see here, viewers. As soon as he saw him on his side there, I thought that was pretty much game over, as Maldovic wants to get closer to the back of football 67611. The BMW Z4 somehow resisting at this time, but goes a little wide into the wall. Maldovic follows him, but has got a great opportunity to slipstream him here. Very, very long straight ahead. Gets into the middle of the circuit, gets into the toe, and then pulls to the outside, trying to drive alongside the BMW Z4. And this looks like it could be a case of who's got the better horsepower here. But football 67611 is not going to give up, gets into the slipstream himself. But that move looks like it's Maldovic's for the taking here. I did force this final chicane towards the final corner. Football 67611 and the BMW Z4 out-dragged and potentially outclassed here, as Maldovic looks like he's going to get away from him quite quickly. Moving further forward, Bacon Bonds has got G4 Demon not too far behind him. Flipper Racing a bit on his own behind Skanky Puppy, who's now in 6th place. Ace Killer in 5th in the McLaren, and then you got Bagavo pretty much out on his own in the BMW Z4. Higgy 91 meanwhile trying to chase after his teammate, but he's lost a lot of time. Kentucky Racer is way clear of him. And in 1st place, Bobley Swagger is way clear of him too. So we've got a bit of a gap between the field, unfortunately, at this time. But all the drivers really mashing the cars, really pushing the look here. So we're right on board with G4 Demon, who's looking at the back of the McLaren MP4-12C of Bacon Bond 72. All the drivers are getting into a nice slipstream here. We've got 16 laps to go at Mount Panorama, Bathurst, Australia. All the drivers, it's been a bit of a messy race in many ways, this. The drivers have been kicking up the dust, they've been smashing into the wall. They've broken windscreens, they've broken bumpers. They've probably broken bones and it was around for real, but the fact of the matter is, these drivers are still out there and they're still pounding away, trying to get those points, get the laps down, get the rubber in. And you can see now how much closer that G4 Demon is to the back of Bacon Bonds. Bacon Bonds to the McLaren MP4-12C, really not able to break away, but at the same time, ahead of him, we've got Flipper Racing and the BMW Z4 also being chased down. So all these drivers really close together at the moment, and it's going to be a bit of a ding-dong here, but don't forget, the pit window is still open. Only Skanky Puppy and Maldovic have stopped thus far. A long alternative strategy, but their tyres will be going off at the end of the race. If these drivers can hang on for another 3 or 4 laps, they will be in the pound seats for the perfect strategy. Halfway through the race, change your tyres. It'll be interesting who's got the aggression to be able to go all the way to the end. But G4 Demon, looking at the back of Bacon Bonds and the McLaren MP4-12C, really got a nice drag on the back of the car as he heads towards the final corner. Takes a little bit of a look there. Thinks about doing a slalom come drive on the inside, but decides to be doing too much of a Valtteri Bottas. But gets a nice clean exit here, side by side, with Bacon Bonds to head down towards Hound Corner. Can he outbreak the McLaren into the corner while going off the circuit? You can see the G4 Demon's got ahead for now, but looking to get right back at him. It's Bacon Bonds getting right into the slipstream, getting right under the wing of that BMW Z4. Pulls to the right hand side into the blind corner. Is he going to be close enough to make an attack here? It's going to be a very aggressive move. You can get it done. Gets on the brakes, hasn't he? Gets it. He's taking a look. He's not giving up, but he's just a bit too far behind. a mistake. He's managed to psych out Girtford Demon, who went wide, hit the wall, and Bacon Bonds takes that place back. Sometimes it's not about being a banzai overtaker, but making someone think you are, and making them make the mistake. Meanwhile, Skarky Bobby pole sitter on this race is quite far back from Ace Killer 15 in the McLaren. Don't forget he has pitted, but he is going to be able to on the compromise strategy here, as Pagavo in the BMW Z4 is running a rather lonely race here. He's probably just a little off the pace of the guys ahead of him, so he's just falling into that little slot just behind the podium sitters. You got Higgy 91 in the BMW Z4, then you got Kentucky Racer in the other BMW Z4, and out in the lead, Bob Lee Swagger in the Audi R8 LMS. Gentleman Club, he's doing very well here at 2:067, almost as fast as most qualifying times already in the race. These drivers are really putting on a clinic here, but unfortunately we are getting to the point where we are getting a gap in the field, and that means one thing: chitter chatter. What topics you got in the box? The chat box is open here, live and exclusive on twitch.tv, so if you've got any comments you want to get, please get them in the box. I'm happy to integrate with you all. Weswick Gaming said hello Swish earlier on in the stream and has now sat down with a nice cup of tea. But Girtford Demon gets a nice exit there. Really big mistake, and actually, look, almost like he let him through. Not sure what happened there. Bacon Bonds just seemed to let him by. Maybe he thought he gained an unfair overtake. Maybe he'd been given a warning of some kind. But either way, Bacon Bonds made that all too easy, and Girtford Demon takes a rather simple 8th place. Meanwhile, Football 67611 is retired. He's in the pits. So, all of a sudden, Vickers has now got a chance to attack here as Maldovic moves up into 10th place. Not sure why Football retired, but now we're only at a point where there's 11 runners and riders. One more retirement and you're guaranteed points as long as you make it to the flag. I fail to see why drivers do that. I don't understand why you'd quit when there's only about half of a race to go, or 2/3 or so. You may as well finish it. You may as well see what happens, because you might get yourself points. For those of you who are veterans of XRL like myself, you may remember a driver by the name of Craig 102, who drove an F5000. He was often as slow as 7 seconds off the pace, and yet I remember a race at Monte Carlo, Monaco, where despite being 5 laps down, he got 12 points and 4th place, purely because everybody else crashed out or rage quit. There's history there for you, viewers. You may as well stick it out. You never know what's going to happen. And if you want lessons from real life, go back to 1999 in the World Rally Championship, when Tom Mackinnon crashed out and thought, well, that's the end of it in the race, in the Rally of Britain, and he was at the airport when Carlos Sainz, in his Toyota Corolla, lost his engine 100 yards from the end. What happened? Mackinnon won the championship by telephone call. Now, interestingly, we've got what's possibly a ghosting car. We've got a Ginetta G55 that's not on the rankings. That's System Flint. He's showing us 13th at the moment, yet he's sandwiched between Bacon Bonds and Demon. His pace is not so horrific to be lapped, so I don't know if we've got a bit of a glitch problem here, viewers, because he's in a place he shouldn't be. For all you viewers out there, this is the first to see a System Flint since the warm-up. I've not seen him on the grid since, so I've no idea if we've got a bit of a problem here. Indeed, he's actually sizing up the back of Girtford Demon as if he's going to be making an attacking overtake. But again, he's not showing there in the ranking. As Bagavo's leaving the pits in the BMW Z4, he's gone through halfway through the race stop, evidently trying to get the march on these guys with fresh rubber. As he come out ahead of them, it's pretty close here. In fact, Bagavo's come out behind System Flint in the Ginetta G55. Now let's watch here. This will give us an idea as to whether System Flint's lost a lap. Because, meanwhile, Bagavo's got his headlights on. He's flashing his headlights to say, get out of my way. So evidently he believes that he is a backmarker, but System Flint, assuming that's where he is on track, judging by Bagavo's lights, I'd say he is, he's not getting out of the way at the moment. Bagavo tries to down the inside, System Flint pulls out racing at the end there, and that was good driving the end for Bagavo to get away with that. It could have easily been an accident, and that's assuming, of course, that's where System Flint is. It could be a glitch. 12 laps to go here at the Mount Panorama Circuit in Bathurst, Australia. And Bagavo now sizing up to the back of Gurfor Demon, who's gone wide, hit the wall, and that's caused Bagavo to make a spin. He's gone into the wall himself, and Bacon Buzz is going to take that position. That System Flint has also gone into the wall behind him. It's almost like a demolition derby here in Bathurst, Australia. What the hell's going on? Bagavo will be furious with himself for that. Caught out by the mistake of Gurfor Demon, and that's caused him to go into the wall. Bagavo getting into the slipstream, trying to get close to the back of Bacon Buzz. McLaren MP4-12C doing a really good job here after that mistake he's made. And look at the pace difference. He's absolutely dragging down McLaren, and he fancies on moving this chicane. He's going to get on the brakes late. Jumps on the barrel. Has he managed to get the car stopped? Yes, he has. Great drive from Bagavo to take 8th place. Meanwhile, Gurfor Demon goes into the pits ahead of Flipper Racing, who I told you not to count him out. He's now in 6th place. Skarky Puppy has climbed all the way back to 5th, but it's a rather lonely 5th as Ace Killer 42 in the McLaren is currently in P4. You got Higgy 91 in P3, the BMW Z3, Kentucky Racer in 2nd place, and then still out in front by about 5 seconds is Bobley Swagger. He's not really broken 3 to dominate this race, but he's done enough thus far to have control of it. But it's not over until the checkered flag falls. Meanwhile, Maldovic is all over the back of Bacon Buzz and just dives past him. Like Bacon Buzz didn't even try to fight that move. Maldovic takes an easy pass and goes to 8th place. Coming out the switching corner as Bacon Buzz is being followed, and Gur Demon is now in 10th place at the back of the points. You can see that Maldovic is really attacking in that McLaren, trying to get near to the back of Bacon Buzz and Bagavo, but he's just not got the edge. Clips the wall there. Bacon Buzz is going to follow Maldovic. I've got the positions wrong there, I do apologise. And you can see up ahead Bagavo starting to stretch his legs, starting to get away from it, starting to feel that he has a chance of climbing the rankings here. Meanwhile, Flipper Racing is doing a great job for BMW in the Z4. He's quite clear of Bagavo, but I don't believe he's stopped as yet. Looking at the lap times, while we've got a few moments here, viewers, you've got Bobley Swagger at 2:06 as the current fastest, as one of the fastest laps. But Kentucky Racer at 2:069, Higgy 91 at 2:71. Then you've got Ace Killer at 2:088, and then Skanky Puppy at 2:065. So evidently, he's starting to catch the gap on that, on those pole position, on those podium sitters there. Flipper Racing at 2:11.7. His fastest lap is well off the pace, but he's still running in 6th at the moment, showing that you can collect the points if you stay in the game. Then you can see in 7th place Bagavo on a 2:73. Then you got Maldovic on the 8th place on a 2:95. Bacon Buzz in a 2:12. Then right at the back of the points, Vickers on a 2:14. So it doesn't matter what your pace is, it's all about sticking it out and finishing the race. But Murray Walker said it best all those years ago. To finish first you've got to finish. Absolutely right. The man was absolutely correct then, and he's correct now. So if you are one of these people who likes to quit early, don't. You never know what's going to happen. Unfortunately now, viewers, have got a bit of a spread in the field. The field has kind of got a bit too far away from each other, and Maldovic in 8th place is not really close to Bagavo, and Vickers is nowhere near him. So I'm afraid we've got that lull where the drivers have just all managed to get away from each other. However, we still have the pit stop window. Indeed, Kentucky Racer is now in, as Higgy 91 is currently in 2nd place. So Ace Killer, is he going to be close enough to attack Kentucky Racer? I don't think he is. He's only just coming into the final straight now, and you can see the Kentucky Racer has just left the pit, so he's got a good 5 seconds on him there. So unfortunately, he's just not close enough to be attacked. Higgy91 has got Bobley Swagger some way ahead of him. Now, Bobley Swagger has got a little bit of traffic ahead of him here. We'll ride on board with the Audi R8 LMS driver just to see how he copes with this traffic. One of the features of Bathurst is how narrow it is, how undulating it is, how close the walls are. Getting stuck in traffic is one of the biggest issues, and being able to get around that really takes absolute skill. Meanwhile, looking out, we've got a bit of a battle here. I think that might be Gur 4 and also the McLaren of Vickers. Indeed it is. So it's currently the battle for 10th place, and Gur4 Demon gets out of the way. Now, is he going to try and follow Bobley Swagger so he can try and take advantage of the blue flags? That's what I'd do, but he's actually stayed behind him, Gur4 Demon. But interestingly, look at this. Vickers is not allowing Bob to get through easily. Vickers is actually trying to almost overtake him there. Bobley Swagger will be seething under the helmet. As the leader of the race, the last thing he needs is to be racing the back markers, but Vickers is not backing off. Vickers wants a race at this. Maybe he wants some camera time for his sponsors. Either way, Vickers, with that broken windscreen and all, is still trying to make life difficult for Bobley Swagger. Heading into the final corner, you can see that Gur4 Demon has started to close the gap a little bit, as ahead of them, Flipper Racing is now in the pits, so they're going to do him and get by. And Bacon Bonds also looks like he's going to get through too. System Flint, though, is too far behind to be any real credible threat. We'll move further forward. Yeah, you see Maldovic in 9th place. Bacon Bonds in 10th for Flipper Racing, leaving the pits down, so he's all the way down in 11th. So Flipper Racing is out of the points now, but he's going to be on fresher rubber. There's only 9 laps to go here at Mount Panorama. Anything can and will happen. There's still plenty of time. Skarky Puppy in 5th place, having got a strong pole position. He'll be furious with himself for the incidents that have cost him those positions. Meanwhile, Ace Keller in 4th place, doing a good job from McLaren, Kentucky Racer in 3rd. And then you've got Higgy91, who's trying to catch up to the back of one of the McLarens. That's probably Bacon Bonds. As we get towards the 2nd sector, Bobley Swagger, though, is way, way out in front. Pardon me, viewers, I'll try and die quietly. Meanwhile, Vickers F1 has got Gur4 Demon all over the back of him again. So we'll ride on board these to a late lunge there. And Maldovic has also joined this. We've got a 3-car scrap. The McLarens have got the BMW meat in the sandwich here. And Maldovic fancies trying to go around the outside of the hairpin wall of Death Star as Gur4 Demon tries to attack the back of Vickers. So these 3 drivers are all very close to each other. Oh, contact! Contact again there, Vickers F1, as can only watch on as Maldovic gets very close and more contact with Gur4 Demon, but Maldovic gets by. A bit of argy-bargy, elbows out of the cockpit, but the driver's battling as Vickers has lagged. Well, that's an anticlimax. Vickers, I think that might be the reason why we had the issue with Bob trying to overtake. And look at the contact there. Vickers' car, what's going on with that McLaren? He's sideswiped. Look at the state of that. What is that? What kind of a glitch is that, Slightly Match Studios? Sort it out! Gur4 Demon will be seething about that, because all he did was drive and they get sideswiped. Meanwhile, Bacon Bonds is now sizing at the back of Gur4 Demon after that contact with Vickers VF1 in the McLaren. The 2nd sister is trying to get close indeed. Bacon Bonds on the attack here, trying to get as close as he can. We've got 8 laps remaining here at Mount Panorama, Bathurst, and it's been very much a tale of the back markers today. The drivers at the back have put on a clinic in terms of driving. It's been aggressive and it's been messy, but it's also been very, very fun. And I thank all of you who've watched thus far, live and exclusive on Twitch.tv. Of course, if you are a member of Excite Racing League, please get your comments in the chat box. It's been eerily quiet What happened to you all asking questions like on pub quizzes and everything else? Either way, get yourselves out there, get yourselves watching, get yourselves involved. And of course, we've got some more racing coming up on Project Cars, courtesy of the Xbox One League. We've got the Renault Clio Cup, and also we've got a Ginetta Championship as well. So keep an eye on the YouTube channel for them. Westwick Gaming will be able to give you a few links for those. Also, the news has been circulating, wondering as to when the next F1 game is going to come out. Personally, I've lost all interest in them after the shocking entries that were 2013 and 14, but anything's possible on the next gen hardware, as G4 Demon looks to go on the inside, and that's an easy as you like overtake. I really do apologise, viewers. I just got a warning telling me to upgrade to Windows 10 halfway through a race. So if all you saw was that, please accept my apologies. I've sorted it out now. Interestingly, Higgy 91 is now in the lead because Bob Lee Swager has gone into the pits, and the lead is not that big. Going back to Kentucky Racer, yeah, you can see that Bob Lee Swager's lead has come down quite significantly. Kentucky Racer in the BMW Z4 now fancying his chances, but Bob Lee Swager will have that rubber fresher for 2 laps, and you'd expect that will come very much into his hands as the race goes on. Bob Lee Swager in 2nd place, Kentucky Racer in 3rd, Ace Killer 15 in 4th place, but Skanky Puppy's not too far away from him now, running in 5th place, so he might yet be able to haul himself to the podium here. He's got one of the faster laps of the race, so he's definitely proven his worth. Bagavo's very much on his own in 6th place, Maldovic in 7th, then you've got G4 Demon and Bacon Bonds once again Hammer and Tom battling here at the back end of the points. It might all be small prizes, but these guys are battling like their lives depend on it. Almost art imitating life for those of you who watched the Bahrain Grand Prix, where you saw the likes of Pascal Wehrlein, the likes of Stoffel Van Dorn, the likes of Roman Grosjean, the likes of Valtteri Bottas, all battling for those bottom points. And indeed, Bacon Bonds looks like he's going to run into the blind chicane, just not close enough to attack the back of G4 in the BMW Z4. But Bacon Bonds in that McLaren is really very much on the attack here as he head further forward down towards the end of Sector 3. Great performance so far here at Mount Panorama in Bathurst. The drivers have been aggressive, but they've also been very, very fair. Bacon Boss lining up the toe, trying to get into the slipstream on this very long back straight, reminiscent of the final straight of the Nordschleife in the Nürburgring, and indeed he just pulls that past there, almost like he had a DRS assist on that. He has so much extra speed. Drivers are just a sitting duck as they go down that straight for anyone who's got a lower drag setup. And a mistake from G4 Demon, he clipped the inside curb, and that almost put him into the gravel as Maldovic goes into the pits for a 2nd time. Maldovic's on a 2-stop strategy. Well, that's interesting. Now, the circuit here being so tight and twisty and very much high-speed cornering, it will wear the tyres out. So could that be a genius ploy? I have my doubts. It's a bit late in the race. There's only 6 laps to go here. But stranger things have happened. Meanwhile, Bob Lee Swager trying to chase after Higgy 91, who has yet to stop. Meanwhile, Kentucky Racer has fallen away quite badly from the back of Bob Lee Swager. Skanky Puppy is now in 4th place because once again, I believe Ace Killer's gone into the pits. So Bagavo is now further away. So Ace Killer goes for a late pit stop, decides to get some fresh rubber on towards the end. Skanky Puppy in the RUF in 4th place, looking relatively close to the back of Kentucky, not too far away. Lap pace is not much difference though, 4/10 in ultimate pace on the current laps at the moment. Don't have the time for Skanky Puppy, but you can see that Bob Lee Swager went for on a 43.4, so he needs to be in that kind of pace if he's going to threaten here. 44.2 for the Kentucky Racer. How does Skanky Puppy compare in response? Yet to reach the time, so it's a good 5 seconds down here. A 43.3 though, so a full second quicker. He may just have the time to haul himself onto the podium here, but I have my doubts. Higgy 91, meanwhile, has got to decide at some point to come into the pits. Oh, mistake from Maldovic. Maldovic just being picked up on the external cameras there. G4 Demon as well, placing the wrong way round in the chicanes. The system Flynn courageous driving in that Ginetta G55. That car's got far too much torque, as 94001 is the last man who's in the pit lane. So System Flint in 11th place, hoping that someone makes an error so you can get some courageous points for Ginetta, because this track is very, not their friend. Flipper Racer goes off the circuit into the wall. Evidently the driver's suffering the worst wear here at Mount Panorama in Bathurst. And Bacon Bonds is being flashed by Bobby Swager in the Audi R8 LMS. Get out of my way, I'm lapping you. And Bacon Bonds does exactly that. Good driving from him. Miguel, meanwhile, is way ahead in 6th place. And you've got Gerthaw Demon, who's got Flipper Racing long behind him. So unfortunately, once again, the drivers are spread out. We just don't have the field. Now, that looks like very much Kentucky Racer. Oh, he's spun! He's spun in the pit lane! He's done a David Coulthard at Adelaide and Albert. A big mistake there. Spun the car going into the pit. Oh, disastrous rookie error. That's the last thing he needed to have happen. And that might give Ace Killer a place over him there. A catastrophic error from the BMW Z4 driver. Meanwhile, Kentucky Racer leaving the pits. Ace Killer only just coming on the pit straight, so he is going to retain that position. But Skanky Puppy is now pretty much a shoo-in for the podium, unless he has to stop again. It is possible. Bobley Swager is second, and Higgy 91. How has he made those tyres last? Currently in P1. Great driving. Skanky Puppy in 3rd place is quite a bit clear of Kentucky Racer. Kentucky Racer, meanwhile, has got Ace Killer behind him by some way. Then you've got Bagavo and Bacon Bonds, Gerthaw Demon, Maldovic, and then Flipper Racing, who's come for a second pit stop. But System Flint is too far behind to be able to get anything from it. As meanwhile, that looks like it's Kentucky Racing has just lapped him as well to rub salt into the wounds. 5 laps to go here at Bathurst, Mount Panorama, Australia. Gerthaw Demon in 8th place trying to attack Bacon Bonds, but he's nowhere near him on circuit. The track, unfortunately, has a field spread at the worst possible time. We may be heading for a possibly anticlimactic ending here, but then again, Bobley Swager is still chasing Higgy 91, because Higgy 91 has still not stopped. I don't know how he's making those tyres last. Everybody else has pitted at least once. We've seen some drivers like Maldovic pit twice. In fact, his teammate Kentucky Racer has pitted twice. Quick run down the fastest laps again. Higgy on 2:08.6. His slower pace and consistent driving. His best laps are 2:07.1. Then you got Bobley Swager at 2:06.6. Skanky Puppy at 2:06.5. A 2:06.9 for Kentucky Racer. Ace Killer in 5th on a 2:08.2. Then you got Bagavo on a 2:07.3. And then look at that, Bacon Bonds 2:11.2 in 7th, Gerthaw Demon 2:12.9 in 8th, Maldovic at 2:09.1, got the 1 lap pace but not the consistency over a stint, and then Flipper Racing at 2:11.5 was his fastest. It's just proof that you can never give up, because you never know who's going to finish the race. Bacon Bonds going through the reverse corkscrew. That's probably the easiest way to think of that corner here at Bathurst. Bergamo and the BMW Z4, we've also got Ace Killer. Unfortunately, there's not much I can really say here at the moment because the race has settled down. Doesn't mean it's going to be an anticlimax. There's a possibility of a bit of battle. We'll remain on board with the Audi R8 LMS of Bobley Swager for now. Up ahead of him, meanwhile, Higgy 91, just coming into the final chicane before the pit lane. He's only got 4 laps left. He's going to have to pit. He can't stay out the whole race. Surely, if he does, his tyres will be absolutely dead. But he's not pitted once again. Higgy 91, I don't know if he understands, but in the rules, you have to pit. At some point, you have to get a pit stop down in order to be classified. So, at some point, he's going to have to do that. Potential controversy here if he's managed to make those tyres last. Bobbly Swagger, meanwhile, doesn't seem to be gaining on him that much either. So it's unfortunate, but we're getting a bit of a close end of the finish here. Skanky Puppy on the podium, but not where he wants to be. And then you've got Kentucky Racer in fourth, very much isolated and on his own, being followed by Ace Killer 85, who's a bit too far behind. Yeah, you can see that Bobbly Swagger has started to close the gap here. Looking at the last lap comparisons, the 2:08.6 for Higgy versus the 2:07.5 for Bob. He's got 3 laps to go. Not sure the actual pace difference between them over a stint, but you can see that he's much more comfortable. And as a result of that, Bobbly Swagger may just close him down on the final last hurrah of this race. But it's going to be very, very close indeed. Bobbly Swagger just trying to do everything he can to attack Higgy 91 in the BMW Z3. Bobbly Swagger has always been the bridesmaid. He's never been the bride. He wants a victory, especially considering that Killer Ramsey, championship leader, is actually not in the race. Cycling back through the field, again you can see that there's very little in the way of on-track duels here. It's all about drivers attacking the corners thus far, but there's still time yet. Kentucky Racer looking at the back of one of the teams there. I think that's one of the other BMW Z4s, possibly Vigavo. And then you got Bobbly Swagger in the Gentleman's Club Audi, who, if we move further forward, oh, Higgy 91 is now in the pits. Bobbly Swagger has taken his position at the front of the field, but Skanky Puppy's gone off at the chicane. And I think that's going to mean that Higgy is going to stay ahead of him. Higgy 91, he tried to make his tyres last, but unfortunately he's just not close enough. And as a result, he's going to be in second place. Meanwhile, Skanky Puppy, can he really get close enough to do a final attack here in the final 2 laps? It's not very likely, but anything can happen. We saw the mistakes that he made. Skanky Puppy looked set at the start of the race, then went into the wall twice in 2 laps, and that was it. So anything could possibly happen. Bobbly Swagger would do the same. We could see Higgy 91 do it. Who knows? It's annoying, we're seeing cars close together, but they're actually not on the same lap. As System Flint goes in for a second pit stop, well, why not? It's not like he's going to be a threat for the points anyway, so he may as well take it easy and repair his car. As you got Flipper Racing in 10th place, doing a good job for BMW. And Maldovic, despite his broken windscreen, despite his broken bumpers, he's still hanging on in that McLaren MP412C and doing a great job thus far in 9th. Meanwhile, we've got Growthor Demon in one of the other BMWs in 8th place. Bacon Bonson and McLaren in 7th. We've got Bagavo in 6th place, headlights ablaze. Ace Killer 15 in 5th place. Then we've got Kentucky Racer trying to catch up to Skanky Puppy, which is just too far behind, really. And then Skanky Puppy is trying to catch Higgy 91. Gap between them. Could be quite close, this actually. I don't know. It looks like Skanky Puppy is on the same stretch of highway, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to affect any kind of pass, really. He's just a bit too far behind. Now, as Bobbly Swagger goes onto the final, goes to do his final lap here. 1 lap remains. Heading onto the thing, he'll be 95. Higgy 91 doing a great job thus far for BMW, and Skanky Puppy, great recovery from RUF after having a great lead at the start. Really got it wrong, but found a way to turn it back around. Used an aggressive strategy and has made it pay. Kentucky Racer in 4th place, BMW, and then 8th Killer 15. As I say, we are at the point where unfortunately it's come as a bit of an anticlimax. The drivers have all spread out, so it's all a case of who can hold it together. Bob Lee Swager on the final lap here at Mount Panorama Bathurst. It was a track that no one knew they were driving until a few days ago, after all the issues they had with the Dubai race. So evidently Australia has been kind to them thus far, and you can see that Bob Lee Swager is really attacking in the Audi R8 LMS. Higgy 91 has the confidence to do just as much in the BMW, but the BMW just doesn't have the pace, it doesn't have that straight line speed needed. Skanky Puppy, meanwhile, in 3rd place, trying to attack, trying anything he can to move further up, but it's not likely. In 4th place, Kentucky Racer quite way behind, and you've got Ace Kill 15, Bagavo, and then on the other laps, you've got Bacon Bonds, Gerthold Demon, Maldovic, and Flipper Racing rounding out the top 10. System Flint rounding out the field. It's been an attritional race. 11 drivers are going to finish out of 15, but great performance thus far. And you can see that Bob Lee Swager now is on the very, very long, almost home stretch here. He's just got a couple of corners left, and then he can claim the checkered flag and call himself a winner here in Excite Racing League. It's been a good race for Bob Lee Swager. He had a great performance early on, really pressured Skanky Puppy, did a great performance in qualifying to come 2nd, and now the Audi R8 LMS driver, he looks like he's going to be finally getting himself on the top step of the podium and actually claiming the spoils, coming around the final corner. Don't mess it up now, heading for the start-finish line, and that's very much a race, very hard fought and very, very well done indeed to Bob Lee Swager. Higgy 91 meanwhile in the BMW Z4, credit to him, really good driving, has come really far forward, flashes his headlights, he knows he's done a good job, and that's 2nd place taken down. Skanky Puppy meanwhile, really good performance from the RUF driver, having made 2 catastrophic mistakes and been absolutely swamped, had to pit early, but the reverse strategy has managed to make it stick, and he comes home a very strong 3rd place. Bacon Bonds meanwhile is way back from these guys. Absolutely huge difference, but you can see that the best laps here, fastest lap countdown, Bob Lee Swager on a 2.06, then you got Higgy 91 on a 2.71, you got Kentucky Racer on a 2.069, then you got Bacon Balls on a 2.10.9 in 5th place, proof that it's not all about one lap pace. Ace Killer in 6th place on a 2.76, then you got Bagavo on a 2.73, Gerthold Demon a 2.12.9, Maldovic a 2.11.2, and then Flipper Racing a 2.11.5. All the drivers really doing the best to get through these races as quick as possible. Gerthold Demon heading down towards the end of the race here. It's been a great performance thus far, and you can see that Bob Lee Swager taking it nice and smooth now, not making any mistakes that he's made this victory. Here's a great job from him. So all the drivers making their way back towards the pits now as we try to bring this race coverage to our close. Mount Panorama in Bathurst, Australia. It's been a crazy race in many ways, but it's been a race all about skill, all about attrition, all about control. And you can see that Maldovic in 9th place is currently doing it in what he can. System Flint looks like he will be one of the last cars over the line. The Ginetta G55 driver has done real guts here today. It's a circuit that's definitely not conducive to that kind of vehicle. It's so aggressive, it's so fast, it's so hard. But ultimately, he's done a great job, and as a result of that, he's going to get himself back to the end of the race. So, needless to say, we've got ourselves a few results here. Get a screen grab of that for all the viewers at home. For those of you watching here on Twitch.tv, thank you very much for joining me. I'm at Pete Markram. It's been an absolutely fun race. It hasn't been the complete classic we've wanted, but it's had some great performances throughout. Really good stuff on display here. And great to see Bob Lee Swager up on the podium in 1st place. You can see now the drivers are just starting to enter the pits here in the final part of the circuit. And the final driver left is System Flynn, as everybody else has got themselves back to the pits and done a great job. You can see that Higgy 91 is now in there, as is Skanky Puppy. So the final formation out laps are here, and a great performance all round. So this has been Excite Racing League's PlayStation 4 GT3 League. It's been fast, it's been funky, it's been a